conversations with a curated group of people. So Twitter has just rolled this out. I haven't tried it yet, but I did see when Twitter rolled it out that there was a trending hashtag. The trending hashtag was a hashtag Mayo Monkeys Gotta Go. I said, Mayo Monkeys? What is a Mayo? And then I looked at what was next to it. YT people deserve nuffin. Nuffin. YT, like YouTube people? Well, I agree. I do think they deserve nothing. I don't think they deserve anything. Oh, no, it's white. Then I realized it's white people. White people deserve nothing. Hashtag Mayo Monkeys Gotta Go. Now, I have always considered myself more of an aioli monkey. I'm a little spicier and Mediterranean and very, very sophisticated. But I think they were using this term Mayo Monkey to refer to all white people. Take a listen to the conversation.
First of all, Libs TikTok, let me tell you something. If you're in here, or y'all go run back and tell them, y'all ain't got to tell them that nobody else said but me. I'm going to say this, and you ain't got to chop up. I am for the white genocide. I am for the total erasure of the white race. You don't have to chop this up. Yes, I am for all of you white dying like flies. I am for it. I am for it. I support it. I am for putting all you white possums in a gas chamber and letting that motherfucker ring. I am for it. So you don't have to chop up. I'm for it, and I'm going to stand 10 toes down behind it. Simple as that. So you got to chop up. You ain't got to screw the . I said it, and I stand on it.
Now, lest you think that this was just some kind of random, brief exchange from a co-host of this conversation on Twitter, it wasn't. One of my producers was in the conversation live when it was happening. It was the whole conversation. Obviously, look at the title of it. White people deserve nothing, hashtag Mayo Monkeys Gotta Go. This was trending on Twitter. It would seem to contradict the lie that we're often told, and now that children are taught in schools across the country, that black people can't be racist. You'll hear this taught in corporate boardrooms, in classrooms, all over the place. Black people can't be racist. So even if they say something like this, they're not really racist because they're black. And if you're black, you can't be racist. So by definition, they're not racist. Even if they're calling explicitly for the white genocide, their words, not mine, and saying we have to put white people in gas chambers. It goes without saying, I hate to even be so cliche as to say this, that if white people did anything like this, it would be not just an incident on Twitter, not just a controversy in the United States, it would be an international incident. The UN would be looking into this, okay? But it's not. And so there is obviously a double standard here. And frankly, it's not even really worth. I mention it just so briefly for the handful of people who don't see the point, who don't see the double standard. Contrary to the view that is taught in schools and in offices and HR trainings and comes from critical race theory and other associated movements, contrary to the idea that only white people can be racist, all of the evidence we have available to us suggests that white people are the least racist people on earth. They are the least racist people ever in the whole history of the world. Pew Research had a survey that came out just a few years ago, showed that white people have the lowest racial consciousness by far. They asked people who are white, black, Asian, and Hispanic, how important is your race to you? And of the people who said that race was somewhat or very important, you had that number over 50% for Asian people, over 50% for Hispanic people, over 70% for black people said their race is somewhat or very important to them. Only 15% for white people. Shockingly low racial consciousness. There's another survey just came out from Rasmussen, that said that 37% of American adults believe that black people hold racist views, as opposed to just 15% who believe that white people hold racist views. Now you might say, well, that's just because, I don't know, there were a lot of white people polled. But it's not true. Even among only the black people polled, the black people believed that black people were more racist than white people. 31% of the black people surveyed by Rasmussen said that they considered people of their own race to be racist, while only 24% of them thought that white people were racist. So we're not saying that white people are not at all racist or that black people are completely 100% racist, but all of the data we have suggest that white people are the least racist people in the history of the world. In fact, the very concept of racism, the very idea that racism might be a bad thing, comes from white people. Just look at the history of the ideas. So the idea that only whites can be racist is, as we see from social science, as we see from various Twitter conversations, perfectly divorced from reality. Okay, and you see this a lot in our culture, increasingly so. Maybe the most obvious version of this is transgenderism, the idea that men are really women, and if you say that they're not, you have to be silenced. If you contradict this obvious delusion that is totally divorced from reality. But you see this on issues of sex, race, economics, politics. Everywhere you are seeing a chasm opening up between the official narrative that the establishment tells us and reality. And this is a very scary thing, because things do not end well when your society is divorced from reality. Let's take this beyond the racial issues and the male monkeys having to go and the sex, even just broadly. If your society is grounded on delusion, your society is not going to flourish. And when you look around us right now and you see society crumbling in basically every sector, and you see the people running our society have extremely low approval ratings, rightly so, you see the consequences of that delusional kind of ideology.